Not going though. Oh, now we record.
Okay. It's recording on your computer then. So we're good?
Looks like it. We are good.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's get this show on the road here. All right. Welcome. I'm Lori Hyvee, CEO and founder of Keystone Click. We're a strategic digital marketing agency. We're helping our clients build brand awareness and generate leads online. We do that by conducting research and collecting insights that helps us to build a strategy that's really focused on the goals of our clients. Our service offerings include websites, digital marketing, marketing automation, and media production. I've got 20 years experience, with the majority of that time being in the digital space. My co-host today is Spencer Bard. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Spencer Bard. I am the sales and marketing coordinator here at Keystone Click.
All right, I'm excited to talk about the CRM and List Segmentation. Spencer is on because he lives in our CRM every single day, don't you, Spencer?
I do, all day and every day.
Lots of good insights to share and experiences that we've had, not only with our own experiences within a CRM, but also the stuff that we're doing with our clients. So this is the second one in our series on the topic of marketing automation. Over the next 10 weeks here, you'll be able to join us for 4 additional webinars, where we're going to go deeper into different aspects of marketing automation in general, and just kind of build off of each section. So we hope you join us for the future webinars. All right, so what's on the agenda today?
Today we are learning everything related to a CRM. We're going to take a look at list segmentation, best practices, different types of list segmentation types, best practices for your list to utilize your list segmentation, and any questions you guys have.
Sounds good. Feel free to throw questions in the chat or in the Q&A. We'll get to them at the end. My goodness, stumbling on my words a little bit today.
So, take action. Take a screenshot of the slide that you think you'll use it for your own business, post it on social media, tag Keystone Click, and it'll help you win this book.
This book is a collaborative book with a number of marketing agency owners across the country. Yours truly has a chapter in it on the topic of blogging. So hopefully you can find something that inspires you, take a screenshot of it, throw it on social, and tag us. So let's dive into what is a CRM. Have at it, Spencer.
Yes, what is a CRM? So by definition, a CRM is a technology for managing all your company's relationships and interactions with customers and potential customers. So the big goal of a CRM, that's to improve your business relationships, to grow your own business, and a CRM helps companies stay connected to their own contacts, automate your sales or marketing processes, and overall, hopefully, improve your profits. So now we can move on to the features of CRMs. So CRM tools can be used throughout multiple processes. The biggest ones are marketing, sales, digital commerce, and customer service. And they're made to aid you in managing your customer relationships across the entire customer life cycle. So one of the big features for CRMs is contact management. So CRMs allow you to store contact information of many things for context, such as name, address, email, phone number, company name, and so on and so forth. In addition, it allows you to keep track of all your interactions with said contact by adding notes to the contact and tracking the life of the contact in terms of emails they viewed, have they signed up for any offers with your company, have they scheduled a meeting with you guys, or have they already had a meeting with you guys. This allows you to manage your leads much more effectively throughout with the utilization of lead scoring, and you can utilize to better identify which are your most promising prospects. And then that leads into pipeline management. So when you identify a contact that you believe is a lead, it allows you to put it into a pipeline, which allows you to create. And say you have multiple service offerings, you can create multiple pipelines, which allow you to better organize and keep track of your leads. Within each specific pipeline that you've created, a CRM will allow you to create stages for your lead. So for example, here are some stages that we use at Keystone Click in our own pipeline. So we have, for instance, prospect identified, initial contact, proposal scheduled, proposal presented, and then hopefully proposal won, but in the case that it didn't go our way, proposal lost, which we don't like to see. You can organize these stages in your pipeline whatever way is easiest for you. You don't have to use our way, you can use your way. But the most important feature of pipeline management is that it allows you to change the stage a lead's in with just a simple click of the button. Then in terms of workflows, workflows are where you're going to nurture your leads and hopefully convert them into sales or market your own products. So workflows can be used in many different ways, and a workflow is basically just a series of automated actions that trigger based on a lead's behaviors. So some triggers that could trigger a workflow could be if a lead visits an email, if a lead has a certain lead score, if they visit a landing page, if they are in a certain stage in your opportunity pipeline, or if the lead fills out a form. So those are just a few examples of the types of triggers that can be used. And so the workflows have many different purposes, including marketing campaigns, sales drip campaigns. You can change the lead stage of a contact if they've completed a certain action, or you could even use a workflow to take a contact out of a workflow if they had completed the action intended from the initial workflow. So those are just a few ways that companies can utilize workflows. Contact lists or segmented lists can also be assigned to workflows, which we will get into later when we discuss list segmentation. And then in terms of reporting and analytics, many CRMs will feature reporting or analytical features, which can be used to generate data. So these data and reports can be used to enhance your drips, your email automations, or your workflows. And reports can be run on anything from emails, sales figures, page visits, and very much more.
Was a lot. CRM is definitely helpful.
It is.
Let's high-level overview of some of the benefits of a CRM.
Yeah, so as you can see by the graphic, they have many different benefits from sales to marketing, all the way to customer service and digital commerce, as those are the main 4 areas that a CRM is going to help. One of those ways that'll help is through trustworthy reporting. So even though that many different platforms will give you analytical data such as Google Analytics and social media platform, a CRM allows you to take a deeper dive into your company's metrics, which will include data from those other aforementioned platforms. And the data and metrics that your company generated by your CRM will trickle down to the other aspects of marketing automation. For example, you can run reports on how your emails are performing, trends in sales, where your leads are, and many more, which will allow you to see which sales and marketing efforts are doing well and which can be improved. And then dashboards, these are where you'll be able to see your reports and where your reports are formed. So dashboards will allow you to view email marketing metrics, including click-through rates, open rates, how many links within emails could be clicked, and many more. From a sales perspective, dashboards, if you've got salespeople working on calls, they can display how many calls were made in an hour, or how many of those calls resulted in a positive action, such as a sale, or maybe a meeting scheduled. So dashboards from a CRM are much more effective and efficient as compared to creating your own spreadsheet with your own data, which you have to analyze on your own. The dashboards will create an easy to analyze report on whatever process you'd like to message. And then based on those reports and analytics, you can improve your messaging. So you'll be able to you'll be able to create more relevant content that is personalized to your audience. From the dashboards, you'll be able to see what's going well, what you can change. And as a result, you'll be able to change your messaging, which will allow you to maximize the effectiveness of your email campaigns, whether they are manual or automated. And another way this will benefit you is proactive service. Like I mentioned, it also helps you in the customer service realm. So this will basically take away all the digging for information you have to complete when a customer calls with an issue. It'll save time, and it also makes your customers feel as though they're a priority. And more importantly, it gives customers the impression that your service and customer service team are proactive and knowledgeable. So these aspects allow for higher customer satisfaction and less time to resolve customer issues. And then, as I said before, less time to solve customer issues, that brings us into enhanced efficiency. So being that automation is one of the main features of CRM technologies, automation is a huge advantage for CRM users. So it'll improve your efficiency in creating email drip campaigns, automations, workflows, cutting time while handling customer questions, so on and so forth. It will just help you save tons of time on all of your marketing or sales processes. And then it'll allow your team to collaborate, and it simplifies that. So your CRM will save a record of your conversations, interaction, needs, notes, and contact information from customers. And if it's cloud-based, it's always up to date, and your teammates can easily look at the records to make decisions. So that will allow everyone to work collaboratively on whatever project you are currently working on.
Right. Now there's 3 different types of CRMs out there.
Yes,
Do
there
you want
are.
to go a little high-level overview on those?
Yes. So although there are 3 main types, there are some of them, for the most part, they all encompass areas of the others. But the type of CRM that encompasses the most parts is the operational CRM. So the operational CRM sounds kind of does exactly what it sounds like, is it focuses on operations surrounding customers. So the 3 main areas an operational CRM covers are sales, marketing, and service. And operational CRM, once again, is the most all-encompassing type of CRM, and features it will include would be your sales automation, which includes distributing leads to reps, as well as giving insight on which leads to pursue via lead scoring. They'll also feature many of the marketing automation tools that we've discussed. We'll dive deeper in future episodes. So they're pretty much, operational CRMs are pretty much a good option for any type of business. But the main business it'll help is a company with a heavy customer focus. An analytical CRM, once again, does exactly what it sounds like. It's a warehouse for data where you can integrate and store data from multiple sources. And then from that data warehouse comes data mining. Data mining is the process where raw data and reports is turned into useful insights. Analytical CRMs also offer analytical processing, or OLAP for short. OLAP is a technology for data discovery, which will help you for viewing reports, analytical calculations, and also help you with forecast and budget predictions. So this type of CRM will best benefit a company with a plethora of historical data to shift to, and that they'd like to use to make informed decisions as they move into the future. And then finally, the last type of CRM is a collaborative CRM. And a collaborative CRM wants to maximize the efficiency of communication across your entire team. So it accomplishes this internally through giving the entire team access to critical information. And some of the main features are interaction management, which let you contact groups based on various criteria, map behaviors to improve interactions, and channel management. So collaborative CRMs will best benefit a business that has a lot of cross-department communication where they need to be working collaboratively.
And our focus typically is on the operational or collaborative, especially with the sales and marketing elements that we're really focusing on.
Yeah, and like I said, an operational CRM will likely be composed of many elements of also the analytical and collaborative CRMs. So in ours, I know we can all work on our emails together and so on and whatnot, and we can all generate reports. So it's all encompassing for the most part.
Which is awesome. So let's talk about list segmentation here. Friendly reminder that if you find something of value and interest, to take a screenshot of it, post it on social media, tag Keystone Click for your chance to win that book. All right, so lists and segmentations, I'm just gonna kind of go a little bit deep into both of them. It's basically taking your customers or contacts, all that you have, and then your leads, the people that you know, whatever, and then putting them in different groups based on different interests or demographics. And I've got a couple examples here. So first though, before you start segmenting, you need to start by building your list. And a handful of recommendations on how to build your list. First and foremost, always make sure you have a level of approval. It's important that you're not just throwing people on a list just to throw them on a list. But a lot of ways that you can grow your list is by leveraging social media. So if you have an established following on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Pinterest, you can easily put some call to actions in your post and encouraging them to sign up for your list. Now you want to get creative with that. You don't want to necessarily say, sign up for our newsletter. You need to tell them why what are the benefits behind them getting on your list? Another great way to do that is to create a lead magnet. And that's something that's a valuable piece, such as a white paper or an ebook, a checklist, something that's going to encourage someone, provide value, a high-level source of information. It's so valuable that they'd be willing to pay for it. But instead of paying dollars, they're paying with their email address. And when you have that give with the exchange of getting and collecting their email address, you need to take them somewhere, which is going to be that awesome landing page. Your landing pages, some best practices for that are to keep it extremely simple. And what's different from a landing page versus a web page on your website is there is no navigation. There's one specific task that you want them to do, and that's to give their email address in exchange for something. The landing page really needs to focus on what are the benefits, what are they getting by giving their email address. Oftentimes testimonials can be extremely powerful, whether they're text or video to share like the value in the information, but also a video can help tell the story of what they can expect once they receive that piece of information that they're going to get in exchange for the email address. Another valuable spot, and I think a lot of people miss this, is maximizing your blog and putting call to actions within your actual blog content to drive people to sign up for your email list or cross promoting that lead magnet in that landing page. Another opportunity, depending on the industry that you're in and what it is that you offer, is to have exclusive deals that are only available for people that are on your email list. And if you promote it that way, that they get 10% coupon immediately for signing up for your email list, those types of things really can help expedite the growth of your list. Another area that I think is missed often is your own personal email signature. So not your email newsletter, but your inbox, your Gmail, your Outlook, whatever that you're using. Put a call to action in your signature to encourage people to sign up for your email list. Again, focusing on the benefits, not so much just saying sign up for our email list. The other thing that you can do in your messaging, whether they're drip campaigns or newsletters, is have a statement that encourages others to forward the email. Make them think for a moment, if you found value in this, or do you know anyone else that would find this information interesting, please forward the email. When you forward the email, oftentimes, if someone did find value in that when they get that email, they're likely to sign up for the new, for your email as well. All right, so now that you've been building your list, we're not quite segmenting yet. We will get there in just a moment. What is important is to maintain a clean list. So the phrase is scrubbing an email list. And this is something that you should really consider doing on a regular basis because you don't want it to become too big or too overpopulated with content or emails that are not performing. So the reason that you would ultimately scrub your list is, a benefit is that it could reduce your marketing costs. So a number of platforms, email marketing tools that you use are based on the size of your email list. So, going from 500 emails to 5,000 emails that you're on your list could be hundreds of dollars a month that you're saving. It'll also reduce the spam complaints. So if you are sending emails out to people that don't want to receive it and they mark it as spam, that is a negative check mark that is listed in your email system, and they could blacklist you from actually sending any future emails out, depending on the volume of spam complaints or the percentage based on the size of your email list. So you want to minimize that happening. Also, cleaning up your list and making sure that you have the right people that want to hear from you will increase the metrics. So you'll get higher open rates and higher click-through rates versus having people on your list that aren't interested in actually paying attention to it. So how do you go about scrubbing or cleaning your email list? Any tool, most of the tools that you use, you will get reports on bounces, open rates. I mean, there's a lot of data and analytics that's collected on every message that's sent out there. So when you look at that list of bounces, there's two different types of bounces, a soft bounce and a hard bounce. And that's kind of what the screenshot is here. This is actually from from our program that we use. The soft bounce means that there is something wrong temporarily with their email. So, sometimes that happens. Your inbox is full, or, something was wrong with the server. So that would be something that I wouldn't worry too much about. What I would be concerned with is the hard bounce. So a hard bounce means this email doesn't exist anymore. So if you're getting a hard bounce notification, likely someone is no longer at that company, that you have their previous employer's work email address on there, or the email is not working is at the end of the day. So you'll want to just remove that. Anything that's a hard bounce, remove it from your list. Another thing you can do is send a re-engagement email. So that's simply saying, hey, just working on touching base, making sure that you enjoy seeing the content, and just have a quick short statement. Are you still interested in being on my list? Yes and no, 2 buttons. If they click yes, keep them there. If they click no, that tells you they don't want to hear from you anymore, and then you just remove them from the list. Definitely want to look at and start, this is more if you have some segmented lists, but the more active lists, the ones that you're using more frequently, those would be the ones where I would start with the cleaning. Check out any duplicates. I mean, people forget if they've signed up for things multiple times. Some systems do a good job of keeping track of and merging any duplicate entries, while others do not, and they do count it as separate emails on your list. Any spammy addresses, so I'm sure you've gotten, we've all gotten those, spammy emails, you just some obscure characters at AOL.com or whatever. If it doesn't look legitimate, then get rid of it. Also, another area is to remove any role type email addresses. So the example I have there is the support at or info at, those types of email addresses. They're really not going to anyone unless you know specifically that maybe it's a small company and that is their only email address that they use. Very common for people that are subscribing to make typos. Nobody's perfect. I know I've done it a number of times, but maybe instead of it saying at gmail.com, it says at email.com, or the I've seen gamil.com a number of times. So or .co, or sometimes. So just double check and see if there is something that jumps out at you that is not the proper spelling of the email address. So these are all the manual tasks that you can do to focus on cleaning up your email list. Alternatively, there are a number of third-party resources and services that are out there. You can just type in, email list scrubbing services, and you'll get a number of recommendations that are available. But definitely take the time to clean up your list, because it's going to reduce your marketing costs potentially, and reduce the number of spam complaints. But also, as I said, it will definitely increase the data, and you have more people opening it. All right, so let's talk about segmenting that list. Now that we've got a nice clean list, what do we do with it? I know there's 2 different ways to segment, manual and dynamic. So Spencer's going to talk to us about list segmentation from a manual perspective.
Yep. So from a manual perspective, you've got your contact list, and it can be extremely overwhelming. And on the other hand, if you upload a large contact list at one time with like 200, 300 contacts, it can be overwhelming and you don't know what campaign you want to direct them towards. So that's where list segmentation comes in. Instead of starting a campaign for all the contacts in your upload list at once, break them down within the whole list into segments. This will allow you to better manage the effectiveness of your campaign and make tweaks depending on the effectiveness. It'll allow you to respond to contacts more efficiently because you aren't receiving tons of emails at the same time. And it'll allow you to run the campaign multiple times to different segments each time. So really just to keep the longevity of the campaign going. So how to do that? When you upload your list, it'll give you the option to split your list. So when you do that, it'll come to 2 options. It'll allow you to pick the number of segments you want or the number of contacts per segment. And then once you do that, boom, you'll have your segmented lists. And then they're mainly best in situations where you have a large spreadsheet of contacts that you know share commonalities such as industry type, and it just to make the list seem less overwhelming. So if you look at the graphic, this is one of our examples that we've recently used. So we uploaded a list of almost 200 contacts that we knew we wanted to direct towards one specific campaign, but we knew it would be overwhelming if we ran the campaign all at once. So we made a decision to split them into groups of 19 to 20 contacts. For one, we were going to be able to run the automation or the campaign multiple times, and we could also make tweaks depending on the reports we ran after the first few trials of the campaign. So examples of other ways you'd manually segment your contact lists are geographically. So that's where is your contact located? Where do they spend their time? You can also segment them based on industry type, manufacturing, industrial, professional services, financial, as well as demographically, age type, and whatnot and so forth. So creating these segments manually will require you to create individual lists for the segments. So you'll have to create a list for let's say finance contacts, and then it'll require you, once you add a contact into your big contact database, to manually add it to the new list that you want it to be in.
Yeah, I mean, you can basically create lists for anything. So I've got some manual lists based on people that I've met at certain networking events that I've attended. I've got lists based on individuals that have been a guest on my podcast. I've got lists based on the specific industry, as you talked about, Spencer. So you can segment your list based on the service or product that certain individuals have bought or you think are interested in, that you'd like to sell to. So that's all manual, and the goal with marketing automation is to really maximize any sort of automated activities. And that's really the big benefit of leveraging the dynamic lists. So segmenting your list dynamically or automatically is something that we really benefit from. So that's basically you're defining a set of rules, and then those contacts are automatically being added and or removed from lists based on those defined rules. So I've got a screenshot from ours. We have a number of folders with lists in it, and this one is called the engagement list. So one of the ways that we segment our contacts is based on how engaged or lack of engagement we're receiving. So contacts with low engagement, and we have some very clearly defined rules that say, they haven't done anything within the last 60 days. They haven't engaged with any of our content. And then we have unengaged contacts. These are individuals that are in our system and our CRM system, and they've never engaged with any of our stuff at all. The beauty of having these types of lists is that we can do something, send out messaging to try to re-engage them before we, ultimately lose them. So some examples of really maximizing rules-based or dynamic list segmentation: if someone opened up an email in the last week, you can add them to a list that said, this person is hot, they've very engaged, this is the type of content they like, and then you can build out rules that say they're on this list, therefore send this type of information to them. You can create lists based on individuals that are visiting certain pages of your site, or how much time they've spent on a certain product page of your site. We've got some rules-based lists based on our webinars. So if you are signed up for our webinar, you're automatically added to a specific list based on the topic of the webinar. You can build some really neat activities and automations, which is, a future webinar topic, based on how someone is engaging with your content. So if you have a very specific link in an email that you send out, you can say, this person clicked on this link, therefore add them to this list, because you're going to then start sending some very specific messaging. There is some data that shows the more segmented your lists are than the messaging that you're pushing out there, the higher the conversion rate, and there's a better ROI at the end of the day. So broadly, if you're just casting a wide net and pushing your message out to everyone, it's a lower conversion rate than if you're being very strategic on saying, these are the people that I want to get into, which is increasing ROI as well. Let's talk about some best practices. Okay, Spencer, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so list segmentation can be overwhelming. There are just so many ways you can segment a list, as we've talked about before. So one of the best ways you can get going if you're a beginner with list segmentation is that start a segmentation model that only involves 2 to 3 segments. So examples of good starting points could be, like I mentioned before, graphic region, lead score, or customers who have already made a purchase from your company. For example, if you wanted to make a very simple segment, you could make these 2 segments. One, you could have a customer who's already made a purchase from your company. That'd be 1 segment. And 2, prospects who have expressed interest in your company. And this will allow you to craft your message differently for each segment. So emails crafted for the segment of past customers could include loyalty rewards, product discounts, whereas the email content for prospects would be more educational, trust building, and value adds.
Right on. All right.
And then customer personas. So what are the needs, personality traits, motivations of your best customers? So knowing your customers and why they would choose your product over competitors is the first step in establishing segments, effective segments for different personas. So customer personas are going to be useful in creating relevant campaigns, relevant content to your segments. So if you know more about your customer, you'll be able to direct more relevant content to them, and then ideally be able to maximize your conversion. So even after you have your customer personas created, you want to continue to collect information from and about your prospects and customers. So the more information you gather about subscribers, the better opportunity you have to personalize your email campaigns and deliver content that resonates with them.
Yeah, one of the things that I love about leveraging the customer personas approach within a CRM is you can define a persona to a contact, and then you can have the same message that's going out. However, it's slightly tweaked based on that persona, and you're using the words that are going to be more in alignment with a very specific type of persona. So maybe, this person is, high type A person, gets right to the point, just give me the stats and the facts, and then I'll make a decision. And then there's another person that's more that storyteller. I want to hear the why behind everything, and I want details and case studies. So you can really send the same overarching message, but then segmenting the personas and assigning a persona to a contact will allow you to have 2 different messages that are ultimately saying the same thing.
So now that you've got your list segmentation, you want to pair this with automation. So the goal of marketers is to influence the opt-out rates positively and influence your conversions positively. And you want to do that by creating relevant content. That's possible only really with segmentation. So segmentation is going to allow you to tailor your message to your list segment. And when you use segmented lists, you're talking on a more personalized level. So you're talking about stuff that your recipients find relevant and useful. Your subscribers no longer see your emails as spammy or just fluff, but they see them as highly personalized messages that are helpful. So this will help you create more highly personalized and effective campaigns, as you will be able to send more relevant content to your contacts. However, you can't just set and forget about your segmentation. You need to set a bit of time aside to track your performance through the reporting and analytical tools. And then as you keep going with your automations and applying them, campaigns and automations, and apply them to your segments, you can allow yourself to make adjustments to see how your emails are performing within the individual segments. So in addition to opens, clicks, conversions, be sure to measure your success on metrics such as sales, return investment, and overall revenue. So based on those results, you'll be able to adjust your email content and segments to continually improve your performance results.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up here. In summary, we talked about what is a CRM, really great information from Spencer on the different types of CRMs. We went pretty deep on segmentation, both the manual and the dynamic approaches, and then we wrapped it up with some best practices. I think you've got a link here for Will, right? You're going to share that, Spencer?
Oh yeah, let me get over to it.
If you do have any questions, or if you're interested in learning more about how to implement any sort of marketing automation, questions about list segmentation, anything to help create efficiencies within your business, please reach out to Will Jurgensen on our team. I think he's going to throw the calendar link in the chat.
Yep.
And then feel free to do that whenever. We do have a number of marketing automation webinars coming up. So our next one is on November 5th. We're diving into email campaigns and landing pages. You know, we briefly touched on this today with the landing pages, but we're going to go really deep into some best practices on how to maximize your return on investment, increase those click-through rates and conversions. And then we're going to talk about drip campaigns, which are different than email campaigns. And I think, Spencer, you're diving into the lead scoring topic, right?
I will be. It's going to be more sales focused, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And you just threw that link to get on Will's calendar at the moment there. And then December 3rd, we're going to dive into social media automation. And actually, you may be questioning, how is marketing automation tied to social media automation? Well, the systems work together, and there's a lot that you can do to maximize what's happening with your social media channels and tie it into the CRM. And then we're going to wrap it up with an expert panel discussion. We have myself and three amazing CRM experts on the call to answer your questions around CRMs in general. So I'm going to throw the link to in the chat here, keystoneclick.com/webinars to sign up for all future webinars. And that's what we got. We can open it up for questions. Feel free to throw them in the chat.
Laura, one thing that I saw that I had a question on was when you were talking about scrubbing a list and talking about using a third-party system. Do you have any recommendations for what type of third-party system you use?
Sure, that's a good question. So there's definitely a number of tools out there. Like I said, you can just go to Google and type in email scrubbing list. One that I like is called a quick email verification. So there's a free and a paid version of that. You can do up to 100 email addresses a day, I think it is, for free. But that could, depending on the size of your email list, that could take a little bit longer. Otherwise, MailGet or Xverify, like I said, there's a number of them out there. All right, any other questions? All righty. Great. Well, looks like someone was asking about the recording. Yep, this will be added to YouTube, and then you should get an email with a link to it probably the next day or so here. So, okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks
Stay
so much.
warm if you're in the northern states here, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, hopefully.
We will.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.